Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my personal hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. Today, I am so excited to get into this episode because today we are focusing on something that I've been writing for a very, very long time, it feels like. And that is the book that has gotten me the most TikTok clout of all time, at least in my run of the things that I've written. And that is Project Tango. For those of you who don't know, I have been writing a Dancing with the Stars inspired rom-com for nearly the last 2 years. And yes, I do mean 2 years. It's been such a long journey. This book, I've had to write it off and on because there have been seasons of my life where I've started the book or I've written a couple chapters and then it's just not hitting, or I feel called to write something else and, revisit it later. And I did that for probably about a year. And then I took another 5 or 6 months to be serious, but then I had to step away again. And then February through October of this year, I went absolutely ham and finally finished that draft. So now, however, if you do recognize me, that's probably because you know me from I'm the girl writing a Dancing with the Stars inspired rom-com. Don't scroll! Because that's obviously, there's got to be a hook on TikTok videos. So I got to make sure that you don't scroll. Or, hi, I'm the girl that's writing a Dancing with the Stars inspired rom-com and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. So I thought that I would just talk about the book, whatever I can tell you guys about in the meantime, because I am agented. So there are some things I do have to keep under wraps, but also it's my book. So I'm gonna yap a little bit about it. I'm proud of it. And I know that a lot of you guys who have been interacting with my social media are really anticipating it, which thank you guys so much for all the positive support. It really means the world to me. This book is the love of my life. And so yeah, let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about this book's origin story. Okay. I have been a Dancing with the Stars super fan since its inception. I'm talking, I was there for the recount of Kelly Monaco. I was there for Cheryl Burke's back-to-back wins, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. At the ripe age of 6 years old, I remember looking my grandma in the face when she was picking me up from, dance class. And she was like, do you want to go, here and get ice cream or something? And I'd be like, no, Grandma, I have to get home and go watch the Paso Doble. And honestly, I should get that on a shirt and wear it as a badge of honor. That is so me. To this day, it holds up as well. My first crush, mind you, okay, I will out myself a little bit. When I was younger, my first ever crush was Kovu from The Lion King 2. Do not judge me. Both child and adult versions. He was my first ever crush, but my first human crush, that was Mr. Mark Ballas. And I stand by that. And I'm really tired of this hate on Mark Ballas. Heaven forbid. Yes, is he kind of a Nepo baby? Yes, but does he have talent? More than you probably have in your pinky finger, okay? He's literally the prince of ballroom dance, and he proves it. And I'm really tired of the hate. These new viewers are actually pissing me off. You don't understand. Just because that you like a couple or a pairing on the show, that doesn't mean that you need to out the couple that has dance experience. Do you not want to watch interesting dances? I digress. Let's move on. So, with all of this Dancing with the Stars lore in mind. Yes, Mark Ballas was my crush, but also I had a very deep fascination with Derek Huff and Maxim Shmerkovsky. Do you know that somebody looked me in the eye, or I guess not looked me in the eye, they were on social media, but actually took the time to type out the comment on one of my videos. Wait, Val has a brother? Pardon me? I beg your finest pardon? You don't get it. You don't get it and you never will. Oh my gosh, that absolutely shocked me to my core. With all of this Dancing with the Stars lore in mind, I had just finished my first ever rom-com that I had written. It's the book that's currently on submission, fingers crossed, pray for me please. That's Bandcamp. Bandcamp had been finished and it was in the querying trenches. And so I really felt like I was in my bag with my rom-com writing voice. And I just really thought that rom-com was the genre I wanted to be. For those of you who don't know, I had previously independently published 2 romantasy novels. I went through a very hard time and then decided that I was going to write a rom-com to like get me through it and try and sustain my joy. It kind of worked. And it was a great book, and that's the one that went on submission. But I really loved writing that rom-com and just contemporary stories in general. So I was like, I'm going to do this again because I felt like that was just what my voice was best suited for. I feel like I didn't have to be as much of an imposter or like fake the fantasy voice or fake the romance voice. I feel like it just came super naturally to me. And so then I was thinking, okay, Bandcamp was so easy to write because that sort of niche just like sang to me. So if I'm going to write another rom-com, I've got to find a niche that just really is so Sydney to where it comes as naturally as Bandcamp did. And immediately I just was like, oh, duh, Dancing with the Stars. Let's just write a Dancing with the Stars inspired rom-com. So, fun fact about me, I actually danced for most of my life, all through high school, all through college, all through elementary school, kind of in middle school, came back in high school. Dancing was just truly my heart and soul. Was I the best technical dancer? No, but I loved to perform. Dancing was my heart and soul. I loved rhythm. I loved choreography. I found that I had a really big knack for choreography. In my later years, I choreographed my own solos. I was able to really visualize dance. Even if I couldn't like masterfully execute all of the tricks and turns and jumps and sequences that a lot of people who are much more talented than I can do with their bodies. And so with that in mind, I was like, oh, I bet that I could write a really, really good dance sequence between 2 characters because I'm choreographing a dance, but also I'm choreographing an entire story. This could actually go really well for me. So I came up with a basic premise, and it went something like this. A jaded pro who can't win a dance competition show to save his life needs to win a season to save his life. And then in comes the girl who's finally going to help him do it. I saw them clear as day. Did I know anything else about how the story was going to transpire? No. I saw these 2 characters exactly how they are in the book. Like physical description, I got their names pretty much instantly. And so I had these 2 characters. Now I needed to give them a routine. And the routine also came pretty instantaneously. Viennese Waltz, Die with a Smile acoustic version, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. And I just remember shutting my eyes. I could see the color of their costumes. I could see the style of her hair. I could see the silk of his shirt. I could see a single spotlight. It was just genuinely, it felt like I was having a prophetic vision. I think I saw it, like I didn't dream this up in my sleep. I saw it when I was wide awake. And genuinely, when it came to my brain, I was not on this earth. I was like stuck in here. I was elsewhere. And I just wanted to live in that routine. And so the routine to me was just perfect. First of all, if you know me, obviously I'm going to get home so I can watch the Paso Doble. Me and a Paso Doble or an Argentine tango, we are a couple. We are in love. Okay. But something about the Viennese Waltz coming to my mind first was just so groundbreaking for me. And it's because in the context of this like fragmented story, I saw this dance as like their reckoning with themselves, where they're like, oh my gosh, this is not just dance to me. This is this person, this life, this 2 minutes and 30 seconds I have on the floor in my costume is like everything. Like I am in love with this person. And I just knew I had to write the book in full. And so I did. Like I said with the timeline earlier, like I would write, a couple scenes or 5 chapters, and then I would need some time away because then the canon season, like the actual season of Dancing with the Stars would come on, and I didn't want to copy anything that was happening in real life. So then the seasons were happening in the fall, so I had to wait for them to finish, and then finally, this past February, so February of 2025, I started writing for real, like absolutely just locking in. And then I finished the first draft October 7th so like a couple days ago, truthfully. I finally finished that dreaded first draft. This was the longest first draft. As far as how long it took, it was the longest first draft that I had ever written. So now I am on read-through edits, which is so fun because it's still just me and the manuscript. Nobody else has read it, not even my agent, just to clean it up and see what parts like I could cut on my own free will before I send it to my agent and she gets brutal and is like, okay, realistically, this can go, maybe change this, which I am dreading because I'm one of those psychotic authors that as soon as I read a book, if I love it and it's in the same genre as something I've written or I am writing, I will immediately go online and try and see if I can find out how many words long the book was. Not pages. I don't care about that. How many words? Industry standard word count is on the tippity top of my betrayal list. I hate industry standard word counts because what do you mean? I just wrote a 107,000 word romance book and I have to take off 20,000 words for it to be socially acceptable? What gives? That's stupid. I hate it so much. So my goal is to shave off at least 7,000 words, get it into the 90,000s, okay? Even if it's 99,999 words, I will take it because obviously it's going to go through a ton more edits. But for this first round, that's literally my goal. My other goal is to figure out a title for this book because I have, obviously, Project Tango is not the actual title. Every time I'm writing something, if I don't have a title for it, I will say Project fill in the blank, and I will pick a word that resonates with the vibe of the story. So like my first fantasy book was Project Venus because the main character, her name is Venus. The second book I wrote was Project Indigo and the vibes were just super blue. Third book, Project Haven. Again, the resurgence of the female main character being the name of the project, Project Haven. Project Haven is now Bandcamp. Ta-da. But this is the first book that I've ever written where I finished the first draft and I don't even have a title beyond a project title. So we're stuck on Project Tango, and part of my goal for this reread is to find a phrase or a word or something catchy that I can use as a title because, truth be told, I do have a title that I could use as a working title, but I really don't want to set it into place because I don't necessarily know if it fits with anything that pops up in this actual storyline versus I just love the title because it's similar to something else I love, which I'm not going to get into. But anyways, okay, y'all, if you're still here, congratulations. You have made it to my treasure trove of book secrets. I am finally going to spill the hot tea on my characters' names and the blurb that I wrote for when I thought I was going to query this book when I was prepared for Bandcamp to die in the trenches. So let's talk about their names first. I'm actually kind of nervous to reveal this for many reasons, and you'll see why in a minute. So let's talk about it. Our female main character, her name is Taliana, and I shorten it to Tally. Yes, like a tally mark, but not quite spelled that way. Her name is spelled Talyana, Taliana. And then our male main character, his name is Sanya, spelled Sanya, Sanya. So Sanya is a Russian name. So in Russian, but also in Arabic cultures, his name means radiance, and also defender of mankind. And if you know me, I take naming my characters incredibly seriously. I want their names to be unique enough to stand out, but I'm very particular about finding a name that resonates with their arc and their personality in the story. So, Defender of Mankind especially was a big one for me. Now, Sonya is also inspired by a mix of people. And I know I'm going to get this question a lot because obviously like Dancing with the Stars is massive. I love it. You guys love it. So a lot of you are wondering, who's he inspired by? Who's he similar to? Now, he is not a carbon copy of these people. First off, let's talk about the fact that Sonya sounds a lot like Sasha. Okay. Sasha Farber is one of the most underrated pros on the entire show's complete run. Okay. Sasha, I watch that man dance and he moves at the speed of a tornado. This guy is so talented and funny and just so charismatic to watch. And I feel like not enough people give him the time of day. I do like that Sonya's name sounds very similar to Sasha, but he's not inspired by Sasha. I have a special place in my heart for Sasha the Pro that I wanted my character's name to kind of get near, but not quite touch. However, inspiration-wise, it's all about personality when I say this. And this is a compliment because I feel like these two people that I'm going to name off get a lot of hate, get a lot of backlash, and I don't care. I think they're some of the realest people that I've ever seen on the show. And that is Maxim Shmerkovsky and Gleb Savchenko. Okay, imagine me writing a showmance plotline, Dancing with the Stars inspired rom-com, and then one of the men that like helped kind of generate ideas for my male main character gets into a showmance. I thought my book was going to be toast, and then the showmance was terrible. So I think I was safe there. But personality wise, and eventually when this book hopefully comes out, you'll understand. They are such incredible dancers. And again, I feel like a lot of people overlook them because of the personality that they have. And that's what I want my story to get into, because Sonya, the dancer, is so insurmountably talented. And yet all these people can see is, oh, he's jaded. Oh, he's a grump. Oh, people hate working with him. He's the worst. He's not the worst. He's one of the best. And you overlook him. Anyways, I'm going to get off my stoop. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Tally, however, let's shift gears. Tally is actually inspired by two girls that I danced with in college. One of which I gave my character's namesake. The other one being one of my good friends. Her name is Genevieve. I absolutely love her. I just remember watching these two girls in particular and being like, I am so moved when I watch you guys dance, but also how are you simultaneously two of the kindest and coolest human beings I've ever met? What the heck? I will never shy away from being public about people in my life that like make an impact on me, like using book characters to pay homage to them. I don't know. I hope I do them justice. I think they're awesome. And because of that, I hope you think my main character is awesome, because that's where they come from. Okay. To end the episode off, here's the blurb that I wrote for when I thought I was querying, so that you know what this book is about. Taliana Kindred has always been mesmerized by the glitz and glam of her favorite reality competition show, Work the Floor. It's how she re-experiences the magic of her studio days and distracts herself from her present reality as a live-in nanny. But suddenly, all of Tally's dreams are set to come true after her best friend nominates her for the show, and she's slated to compete in the upcoming season. The catch? She's paired with the show's notorious bad boy. Sonya knows that every reality show needs a good villain, and after being robbed of the trophy 2 years in a row, he certainly feels like the world loves to root against him. Then he meets Tally, and despite their many opposites, they're aligned in the two ways that matter most. Dance is their lifeline, and they need this win to take back their lives. Their partnership quickly becomes a hot-button topic of conversation when they agree to form a showmance to amass audience votes. But the more time that they spend together, the more the lines between real love and reality TV begin to blur. And as Sonya starts to trust her with the secrets of his personal life, Tally wonders if the real prize at the end of the show isn't a trophy, but the heart of the partner that she's been dancing with. I feel like reality TV books are very divisive and polarizing, but you guys, with Dancing with the Stars at this huge peak right now, I think the world needs it. Also, I think these new fans need to understand like the actual heart of the show, how brutal it is, how on some levels it's a little bit of a popularity contest, but it is in fact balanced out by ability. Okay, you guys, I'm cutting this episode short because I cannot breathe in this corset top. I literally feel like I'm going to vomit because I came from dinner and I cannot catch a solid breath. Thank you guys for listening to the show. I am hard at work on this book. This book, again, like I said, it's the love of my life. I think it would be the love of your lives. So if you want to learn more about Project Tango in step-by-step updates, go follow me over on TikTok at author Sydney Applegate. I post a little bit over on my Instagram, but definitely more so on my TikTok. I have a whole playlist dedicated to videos of me talking about either Dancing with the Stars or Project Tango, or how the two integrate. So go follow me over there. Go check that out. And thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.